I am a professional. So
are you sure?
Professional. Well, it's a joke. It's a joke. Like I'm sure the guys back in the computer days, like when it was just a hobby, like, oh, Bill Gates is just, well, little William is tinkering with his computers in the back in the garage, and now it's like a full-fledged, doctorate in computer science. And it's the same thing with this podcasting internet. This is a hobby. This is not a real job.
Oh, well, yeah. You don't got to tell me.
Hey, I got you on my side on that? Okay, all right.
I think we've been talking about that most of the last.
But I don't argue. I don't even claim. I don't even begin. I'm not like one of those chicks on the internet. I am a model. It's like, no, you're a whore that shows your tits on the internet. That's what you are. You don't get out of here. This is man talk. You get your woman ass out of here. You don't show your tits on the internet.
Or if you do, you didn't give us the link.
Then no one cares. It's either everything or it doesn't count. Go away, freaking broads.
Not that hey, look, you already got like a bunch of people on.
It's don't be my dad. Like, people listen to you like they're shocked. Anyway, getting back to the inauthenticity of this as a profession, I have never claimed that this was a real job, and it's going to be a shame the day it comes out where you can get like a bachelor's degree in podcasting or some other such BS. And so, what are you doing now?
I'm telling a couple people to tune in.
Well, you should have told me that before. This is why we have to do marketing. Don't you think you should have done that before we did this?
I didn't have the link beforehand.
Honest to God. All right.
Well, like you said, it's not professional.
Anyway, for my audience, for the 24 people now listening, this is my friend Michael Kingswood.
Howdy.
And he is the author and owner of the website noncommunistsciencefiction.com. And I wanted to have him on because he keeps writing a crazy amount of books, and they're going to yell at you about your lack of marketing.
Well,
like, you got the writing down.
Because I suck.
I think, well, you just don't try it. I think you have the writing here. Look, that's his latest book, which is
770 pages.
770 pages. And you didn't do the font cheating. That's what, font 11?
It's the
Times New Roman.
It's the and that's Garamond, but it's the standard size. That's
right. You're not cheating.
When you do a formatting with vellum, I didn't cheat to make it smaller. No.
All right, so it's not like in high school I would increase the font size to 16 so I could make the 1.2 page paper.
I remember one time in elementary school. You remember the black and white, the text based word processors? I increased my margins to like 3 inches.
Oh yeah. I remember
process.
hating writing so much, to which I still do this day. Like, I would come up with my own form of shorthand to just make it to answer the questions. Like, if I didn't have to make pages, like I just had to answer the question, I would apostrophe everything, and just because school just sucks so much. But anyway, I wanted to have you on because you're here. It's convenient.
Heck yeah.
And you have put out a ton of work. And instead of me just saying non-communist science fiction, haha, who plays Jean-Luc Picard? He is a socialist in real life.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. So fuck him. And anyway, but that is a problem though in science fiction. More modernly.
Yeah, if you meet science fiction writers, they tend to be of the more socialistic persuasion, if you will, and lately soy-based, very soy-based. But and that kind of goes back all the way. If you look at some of the early science fiction writers, are
we talking Roddenberry or even before that?
Not Roddenberry.
Asimov or what?
Well, like Heinlein had more of a libertarian slant.
Okay, right.
Some of the other guys and gals did not. But they were very much more eclectic back then. A whole bunch of different ideologies and a whole bunch of different people just doing their thing. But as it's become more of an actual industry making money, as with money and politics and market.
But more recently,
it's become very very socialist leaning. If you're dealing with the official New York publishing,
right. But
if you're dealing with indie authors, it's the whole gamut.
Right, but if I was like watching Star Trek, even the Next Generation, there ain't no you wouldn't know that Roddenberry was a Marxist unless you're paying really close attention. And even then,
well, the first series you wouldn't know. The Next Generation, they were full on commies. Like, we don't use money.
Well, okay, yeah, but all right,
The
those are
DS9 was better in that sense.
Okay. The Ferengi,
Yeah,
my people.
yeah.
All right,
they
good.
they were much more fleshed out in that one. They were great.
They were. We were. Yes, we were. Yes, they were short too. But if I were to go back, it's because now, okay, Gene Roddenberry or whatever, Brave New World, whatever. The story was the main thing to be told. If there was any leftist or political undertones of anything, they were truly secondary to the story. Whereas now, I mean, it's pretty much that's the science fiction or not, just Hollywood in general. It's like, oh, look, it's politics and maybe we get to a plot. And the same could be, it's more pronounced. The politics are more pronounced now in more recent modern day.
Oh yeah, it's rare to have a good story that's just a good story that happens to have some ideological undertones. More, it seems more like people are going for ideology first. I agree.
Does it sell? Because comic books don't sell.
Books are tanking.
Yeah,
I think if you look at New York publishing sales, I think are way down, but indie sales have been going up.
Right.
You look at the Star Trek was a fascist military empire. Well, yeah, the like Hollywood, it's hard to tell with Hollywood, right?
Well, let's remove.
So much money on
I'm only using that as an example. Like, let's remove theater or film from it, but because I don't read, I know. I mean, the irony. I'm an author, and my dream, and I'm approaching it. I think the next book I write, I will have officially written more books than I've read for pleasure, which is fine by me. But I don't read science fiction. I don't read any books. Are they? If I were to pick up the best-selling science fiction book right now, would there be a very obvious political message
coming out of New York? Almost certainly.
Almost certainly. All right.
Yeah.
So
you have the occasional rare ones that don't, like The Expanse. It's pretty awesome. It's just a story. It has, but yeah, I think a lot. If you look at, all you have to do is watch what these Sifo guys and the science fiction writers do. All they talk about is their politics. So I mean,
okay, yeah, and that doesn't look. I already went to school twice, K through 12, and then college. I don't need to be lectured anymore. I'm a preacher's kid, and it is real. Oh, communists, hello, you're nothing but a religion, and there's actually more proof Christianity is the correct religion than communism. Communism has proof it doesn't work. At least Christianity, you're like, possibly. No definitive proof against it, but it's so sad where you got this totally unlimited, like you could do anything in science fiction. Time travel, space, a limitless universe, alternative universes, and you go with it. We just need more people's money. That's where they go with this.
Well, I think these days it's more identity politics stuff than strictly money stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Captain Kirk with a vagina or something.
Are you trying to tell a good story, or are you trying to advance your ideological plot? Now that having been said, like if you. I think you actually read. You said one of the two books of mine that you read was in the space. So it's probably what, the Pericles book.
Yes, yeah. That doesn't it have a female commander too?
The captain's female, and there's very much a libertarian slant to that book, but that wasn't the point of it. I wanted to tell the tale of their first contact and government. Government duplicity and how she was going to overcome that. So,
yeah, but
but I wasn't setting out to say, hey, let's be libertarian.
It wasn't like, Star Wars plus vagina.
It was more like, hey, I think this would be a cool twist to how this worked. Let's explore it. And it was fun.
Mm-hmm. But because what Discovery? Have you watched any of that?
No, but I've heard enough about it to know that I don't want to.
What? Captain Kirk. Black Captain Kirk with a vagina. Like, okay.
And Spock's half-sister that he never had. Yeah.
Wait, what?
She's like his adopted sister or something.
Really? They actually had to relate it to Spock?
And then they brought Spock in the second series with a beard, and he was all emo and stupid. And it's like, God. So, yeah. Which, like I said, I haven't watched it, but I've heard enough that I don't want to.
Yeah. No, it was kind of like, did you watch the Cowboy Bebop human version? I'm like, no, I didn't. And a buddy of mine, he's like, well, once you get past the woke BS, it's pretty good. I'm like, No, it's like once you get past the shit icing on the cake, it's pretty good. You don't get past the shit icing on the cake. You don't get past the turd in the punch bowl. It just, and I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it for that reason. Because I'm thinking the last time I saw any good science fiction was probably Firefly.
Firefly was good. Yeah. The you would probably like The Expanse because it's set in the far future world, and a lot of egalitarian stuff going on, but it's not pushing it in your face.
Right.
It's like, here's our different factions, and here's men, women, and children.
So where there's the mining faction on Mars, and then there's
it's like the government of Mars, there's the government of Earth, and then the government, and then the
asteroid
people who live in the belt, the Belters.
Okay.
And they go, and it's the tension between the three powers, and then some stuff happens that sort of some people stir the pot, and then they make some funky discoveries that make a whole lot of stuff blow up. And it is actually very cool. The books obviously are better than the TV
okay,
series,
but waste your life. Yeah, my mom tried to get me to waste my life too, reading books when they were going to make movies out of it. They see I got the TV show, right?
Well, I'm like I said, the TV show is very good, very well done.
Okay.
Only complaint I've got about it is that they Me Too'd one of the actors and killed a major character stupidly because of Me Too.
Wait, the actor himself in real life was Me Too'd?
The actor himself was in real life was Me Too'd, so they killed the character that wasn't supposed to die.
So what did he do in 1993 that earned him?
I have no idea. Okay. I don't care. But that's not a problem with the show itself. It's a problem with external things.
That's a cultural problem. Yeah. No, I mean, if
on the show,
if he did something bad in the real world, okay, fine. But it's the show itself is good. It's not. I remember seeing an episode. Isn't there like a detective? He's got his hat.
Yeah.
And then there's like missiles fired, and they weren't fired, and then they killed the guy's girlfriend in a different ship. And then I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old and curmudgeonly. I find no joy in anything. But I'm like, okay, space drama. Whereas I don't know if Firefly gets you right away.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't like Malcolm Reynolds? Like already he's like, you know why we're not good at die, Bendis? Because we're too damn pretty. We're too damn pretty. Forgot to let us die. And Bendis dies. Yeah. No, you're like, I like this show. All right, I can get into this. But anyway, all right. So so you have a background in astronomy. Yeah. I don't want to delve too much into your background. Keep your anonymity a little bit.
My bachelor's was mechanical engineering with a minor in astronomy.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
20 years in the Navy submarine force, and then I decided I wanted to have hair, so I got out and I grew.
You succeeded that admirably.
Yeah.
All right. And then, did you always want to write?
No.
Really? I thought you always really no kidding.
Nope. Had no interest in it.
That's like saying I have no interest in dick, and now you're starring in all these gay porn films. Like you went 180 a lot because I'm going to get to your volume of work here. How the heck did that happen?
Well, I've always read a lot.
Okay.
Right? And there were times when when the aughts turned and the blogs started coming along, I'd be reading Robert Jordan's blog or reading George Martin's blog or whatever. And I'm like, man, it'd be cool to be Robert Jordan writing these books and have fans and stuff. But I'm not going to do that. I can't do
that.
And then lo and behold, my sister wrote a book and got it published, and I was like, "How?"
No kidding!
Yeah,
self-published, or she get real published?
Well, a small press.
Okay, but still,
I was like, "Son of a bitch!" My little sister's doing that.
The younger sister.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't let that happen. Oh man, no, I can't.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to write a book, and then I did, and then I wrote more and more and more. Now here I am doing it, and not making much money, but having fun.
Right. Well, let me talk about that because you are by far the most prolific writer I know. How many publications do you have?
Of all length. As of this.
Small little bitty
if you
here.
look me up on Amazon, the rest of all, you'll find 51 titles. Of which
51 titles.
Of which 7 are novels, and you got this behemoth, which will count as a big thing.
Yeah.
And then half a dozen short novels or novellas and
give me the numbers on. Okay, so you have a bunch of short stories. What are those, like 50 pagers, 25 pagers?
Yeah, if you want to be pedantic about it, the short story is anywhere up to 7,500 words, which 7,500 words, 30 pages or
30
so.
page. Okay.
And then you get the novelette, which goes from 7,500 to 17,000. Then the novella.
Well,
which is
give me
17,000,
pages. I don't know words. Give me I'm not a real professional author like you. I just make more money. That's
that's obvious. The now that I've left my corporate job anyway.
Well,
or it left me, or mutually. Anyway,
for the regular audience, because I don't translate words into page. What regular old pages? So 75, 30 is a short story. Novella is 75.
Well, a novella is up to 75 to about 150 or so.
Okay.
And above that, you start talking novel stuff. So
novel. So 200 pages is a novel. Or don't you just call that a book?
Well, if you want to call it, you could call all of those a book. But technically, a novel, a book is definition is 40,000 words or much, which is 200 pages or so.
Okay. So then, all right. So using that, what do you got for novellas and short stories? How many total there?
Short stories. So probably 30 of those titles are short stories and short novellas.
All right.
And then 7 of the novels, and then a bunch of collections of their
compendiums like this
compendiums like that, and novella. And I have like 5 or 6, about 10. I have like 10
standalone books,
short to moderate length novellas, 100 pages or so.
Okay. Do any of them, are they series congruent with what, these 7 are related chronologically?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not like they're all 51 separate stories. There's like 4 or 5 different plot lines going, or what?
Well, like the Pericles book you wrote.
Right.
The story starts with a novelette called Passing in the Night, and then it rolls into the Pericles Conspiracy, which is the 450-page novel.
Right. Okay.
And then I've got my Glimmer Veil Chronicles, which are sword and sorcery, fun adventure stuff. 5 novels in that series.
And those, I would say those, which I'm familiar with. I think, darn it, you know what?
You've got a couple.
I got a couple of them here. Yeah.
Probably with the old cover, but
Michael Kingswood. Yeah, I got them all here. Hang on. See, you think I just threw these away? Little did you know I was keeping these for firewood in case the Democrats took over. Look at how much firewood we got here.
Those are the original covers.
Yeah, these are the original covers. Yeah, so you got Glimmer Veil, and then Outdweller. Okay, so here's a compilation of 5 short novels. All right, Tales of Adventure number 2. So there's obviously a Tales of Adventure number 1. Maybe I don't got that. Toland's Peak. Yeah, these are real books.
They are.
Yeah, that's yeah. If you look at that, so
I have subsequently changed the covers of what those are, because I realized those looked more younger. Those look more like a young adult kind of thing than the.
Were they aimed for an adult audience?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not like racy, but like more the characters are all adults. They're doing adult adventure stuff, and so if you go look them up now, you'll find new covers, and then also, and as I'm getting ready to release book 6 here in a month or so, revamping the covers again to make them even cooler. So
yeah, I did see them. They did. I have no problem with these covers.
I don't either.
They look fine to me, but
from a marketing standpoint, I think it works.
Yeah, you're right. They I would look at this and like, oh, this would be something I would like to read when I was in high school, but I didn't like to read. Period. But no, that Pericles one, that was definitely adult, adventure. Yeah. It's, all right, so you do have. And then this is the most recent one. Why don't you tell them about this?
All right, so April of 2019.
Yeah, hold that.
So April of 2019, I hooked up with. So I do some learning and from more professional writers than me who've been doing it longer about how to write and do business and stuff. And one of the things that one of these mentors I have set up was this thing called the Great Challenge, where, all right, guys, you're going to send me a short story a week by midnight on Sunday every week. And if you do it for a year, I will give you some goodies.
You'll be the proud owner of a new thing.
Well, basically a free lifetime membership to his workshops.
Okay, cool.
And it's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to try it. And, so April 2019, I started. April of 2020, I turned in story number 53 to him in 52 weeks. And actually, there was actually a 54th that I started.
Is that all chronological? Is that all the same thing, or are these independent stories?
So let me finish.
Okay.
So I had a 54th that I was getting ready that I never finished because it was getting to be too long, and I didn't have enough time. But anyway, so Ray Bradbury, a lot of times people would ask him, "How do I become a good writer?" And he's like, "Well, write a story a week, because it's impossible to write 52 stories and not have one of them not be good."
Okay, right.
And that's what the basis of this thing. So this compilation is those 52 stories that I did over the course of the year. They're presented in the order in which I wrote them, and they're all standalone stories. That said, there are some characters and stories and settings that I created in here that I liked enough that I redid. Like you'll find 3 Dustin Cofield elf exterminator stories in here.
Okay.
The shtick is he works for a government agency that does not exist, who helps Santa Claus maintain his production and stave off trouble from the elves, because there was a labor dispute at the North Pole.
Sure,
the elves hated him and basically tried to unionize, and he kicked them all out. And so now they're trying to put a monkey in his works, and this agency is helping stop them. So Dustin Cofield, elf exterminator, stops the elves. Dustin Cofield, elf exterminator. His job is to go around and stop the elves.
Stop the bad elves. All right.
So I've got 3 stories of that in there.
That is definitely not communist.
No, it's
not.
It's
the anti-communist.
And there's a couple stories in here. There, I did a science fiction setting that I created called the Korathy Empire, which is a Star Empire, which I wrote a novella about, which I gave to you once upon a time too. That I based on. Remember Voltron, Prince Lotor? Of
course, yeah, Lotor, sure, bad guy, blue guy, yeah.
Yeah, I remember thinking, what if Prince Lotor didn't know that he was working for the evil empire? That his dad was the evil emperor.
Right. He thought he was the good guy.
He thought he was the good guy. So I wrote this story, Veritas Morte, with the imperial prince.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing with his dad,
sure,
and trying patriotism, and doesn't realize that his empire is the evil empire. And then, when he discovers what's going on, what's he going to do? And so that's the Korathy Empire.
All right.
And so I've written a number of stories set in the Korathy Empire since then, and a couple of them are in here. And then there's a bunch of other random stuff. And it ranges from science fiction, fantasy, mystery. I even did a couple of meet cute, sweet romances in here.
What, really?
Yeah.
Like, was it funny or lighthearted, or like?
No, it's
would girls read it?
Boy meets girl, girl meets boy, and they hit it off, and it's just a short, meet cute kind of thing.
All right.
And there's some. And one of them is there's a couple of some sort of religious fiction in here, like it's one of the exorcist guy who's taken on demons and stuff, and so a whole bunch of different stuff that I think it's all good stories.
What's your favorite one then? In the elf one? Or?
Well, I like the elf Terminator stories a lot. The second one. Second story in this called Debts and Obligations I like a lot. It's the longest story in the bunch. It's 14,000 words, so about 50 pages or so.
All right.
It's a good old fashioned sword and sorcery, kind of like Wintervale. So I like that one a lot too. But anyway, so I got all that done, and I submitted some. After I got all these stories done. Some of them got published in a couple places. Some of them I published. Some of them I submitted to writing contests and got some nice accolades.
Okay.
Some acknowledgments from. But in the last year and a half, with all that's been going on, I've been slacking on writing and slacking in business. And I was like, all right, what am I going to do to kick things off? All right, as I'm restarting myself, I'm going to make this big damn thing.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Did you submit it to the competition like that, or you just sent Microsoft Word individual? Okay, right.
And so back in November, I ran an Indiegogo campaign, got a bunch of, which I crushed, and got a bunch of people to support me to put it together, and it came out just this week.
Cool.
On the 1st. You can find it on Amazon, everywhere. Go to bookstoread.com/create challenge. All the retail sites are there. But the best thing is if you come to me directly. So
What's
if
you
come
directly?
to me directly.
Is it non-com? It's not. I gave you that idea. Non-communist science fiction, and now I have other sites.
Non-communist science fiction goes to michaelkingswood.com, and you can find.
Is that the best one to go
you
to?
can find all the stuff from me. But the business website where I sell stuff is ssnstorytelling.com.
I link to that one below.
Yes.
All right. So if they want to get that book. Now, I do want to talk about the marketing. All right. I think I'm no author, but I think you have the writing part down. What have you done for marketing? Except, hey, Clary, okay, here's a book. What have you done?
Well, back in the day, before I started slacking, as I retired from the Navy and all the other stuff, used to get ads with various email marketing things, and that was somewhat effective, but not really. But a couple of years back, I decided to start my podcast.
Right.
Story Time with Michael Kingswood.
Time with Michael Kingswood, right?
Where I have been, reading myself short stories, or a couple of the books that I've had put into audiobooks with our friend Kevin Sapp. Remember he read.
Does he still read, or did he have a mental crisis?
No, that was the other guy. He had a mental thing. But
they all had mental things. All of them had mental crises.
I haven't talked to Kevin in a while, but I was hoping to have. He did the second book in Glimmervale. I was hoping to have him. He did the rest as I get more money. But all right. Well, anyway, books that other people have read is easy for me to do. Is I just go and put them up chapter by chapter. I basically do Story Saturday, put a chapter up a week. And lately, I've been starting to talk about other things and I'm gonna go into that more. You'll be proud of me. I have 17 whole subscribers on YouTube. It's great.
What? Okay. Well, we should have added that to the thing. Where do they find you? Michael Kingswood. If I look up Michael Kingswood,
Storytime with Michael Kingswood.
Storytime with Michael Kingswood. All right. So that's how they find the YouTube channel.
And,
all right.
And that's also on BitChute. And I got an audio podcast too. But aside from that, I've been. Yeah, marketing is my failure.
Okay. Well, that's why and just so everyone knows. I don't have him on because I'm doing this as a favor to him. I wanted him on because he's here. We can do this. And then it makes the entire trip for him tax deductible. And I did want to get, because I have I don't read people's books. They give them to me. I rarely read it if I have to. If you got an audiobook, cool.
You got 20 of them.
Yeah. Well, then I can go ahead and listen to those. So I will go ahead and do the reviews. But the marketing nowadays, because I remember if you were paying for an email advertising, this must have been about 5 at least 5 years ago.
Yeah. I was doing, there's a whole bunch of different, I did Facebook ads and Amazon ads, but I'm not on Facebook anymore because it's cesspit. And Amazon ads have gotten easier to do, but it's.
Do you have success with that?
I do them somewhat, and it's but the problem with that is, it's become a pay-to-play thing, right? So you got to pay Amazon in order to have your book sell, and then you got to pay more to have more of your book sell. And this is never-ending spiral kind of thing. Right, okay. And it's I would prefer not to do that if I can manage it, which is because I've seen a whole bunch of writers who get in the only Amazon thing, and they get trapped in that and they can't move.
Do they make any money out of it?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of people who make a whole lot of money.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe it's legit because that's why I was kind of curious, because that's what I tried when I first wrote the first couple of my books. Is I'll do Amazon and Google Words or whatever the big, and my results were shit. Yeah. I mean, it was like this. I mean, I could. You might as well go with print media at that point. So I was never a really big fan. And then through trial and error, what I found is, aside from having your own YouTube channel like you do and all that, and Ryan prolifically, was just paying people not to do a good review, but to do an honest review. Here's my book. I know you're busy. What will it cost you to read through that and do a review? And something like Joker, a Better Bachelor, he did a review of a couple of my books. I had to pay him a good amount of money because the guy gets paid highly. But I have found that to be the most effective, where you find, the biggest people you can in the genre of book that you wrote on the internet, who will read your book for money and that you can afford. That I've found to have the highest return on investment, because you're getting to the most precise, drilled down niche of your market by somebody who that audience respects and listens to, and they are very prone. Like Terrence Papa is another guy, at least in my field. Yep. If he reads your book and does a boom, I mean, you're almost guaranteed to get your money back. But I'm kind of curious about that. Outside of that, I've dipped my toe here and there, but I've had no success or luck.
I mean, if you, I had a BookBub do a promotion of my Glimmervale the first Glimmervale book one time, and that actually worked pretty well.
BookBub.
BookBub. It's like the biggest email book marketing thing out there. They have like 2 million people's email addresses, and they will go every day promote a different book. And
hang on, let me write that BookBub. BookBub. Remind me later.
But they're expensive right now. You know, nowadays, if you want to give a book away for free, it'll only a couple $100. But if you want to charge, have them promote something that's like it has to be discounted, so down to $2.99 or 99 cents or something like that.
All right,
and then they're going to charge you $500-600
for one email.
Yeah, but and also for their promotion. But that almost, if BookBub puts you up, you almost are always going to make your money back or more. But at least in the fiction side, I can't speak to the nonfiction side.
All right,
that's not my spiel.
Why? That's another thing, because you are more the author than I am. I just happen to write books on my niche. I'm not a literary guy. I don't like writing. I don't like reading. Why does nonfiction outsell? I'm sorry. Why does fiction outsell nonfiction? Something like 10 to 1. People just want to hear a story.
Well, yeah. It's nonfiction. Nonfiction. People have a problem that they want to solve, or a skill they want to learn, and they go and they get the thing that will help them solve their problem, and their skill is good. Mm-hmm. Whereas, fiction, it's entertainment.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah,
it's not the solve. Not everybody needs to learn how to fix a steering column, but everybody wants to hear a story about a dragon getting slain and some hero doing something.
Or a boy meets girl. I mean, romance is the biggest selling of all.
I should write a romance.
Followed by mystery and thriller, and then science fiction is actually
romance,
and then thrillers and mysteries.
And
then fantasy, and then sci-fi is like, if you want to put them in that order. Yeah.
So the romance, though, obviously is heavily weighted towards women and Harlequin filth novels.
Well, there's various degradations.
Degradations, yeah, you nailed it. Yep.
There's gradations of romance. You've got they categorize it by temperature. You get the hot, steamy romance.
Really?
It shows all this stuff, and then you got the and they will how steamy is it? There's sweet romances where you don't. They just go into the bedroom and shut the door and you don't see anything. And then you've got the really steamy ones where it's like every
50 Shades of Grey, right?
So that gradation. So there's subgenres within romance, but so whatever the audience is looking for, they can find it there. And it's primarily women who read that, but not just women. I mean, I've read a couple of Nora Roberts' books just because I want to see what she does, because she's the queen of that, and is exceptionally good writer.
You have to be at that level, but is there a formula behind it? Because like I always make fun of Harlequin romance shows, the Hallmark movies, because it's the same thing. 2 guys, one lawyer, evil corporate guy, other heart of gold, but secret billionaire who doesn't tell anyone guy. Single mom, average-looking girl, just who has magical career in New York, evil villainous boss lady, sassy minority, typically black, not always, though. Woman comes in, Johnson, he a good man, he's a firefighter, you better look out for him. He's the real man. And then she doesn't listen because it's what she wants to have on paper. But then Johnson comes in, and then the sassy black nurse lady knows because she's the old wise one. And then all of a sudden something happens. Okay, I got that. But does Nora Roberts have something as scripted?
Well, I mean, romance is all. Nora Roberts is, if you want to talk about her, the ones I've read, there's always a pattern of romance, right? The you meet the girl and you meet the guy, and they meet each other, and they hit
Sure.
it off, and they start to get to know each other.
But
Then
there's a problem.
Something
Right.
happens, draw them apart, and then they figure it out and come back into the end.
Right.
Yay, happily ever after for now. That's the romance pattern, right? But the ones I've read of her, there's whole kinds of different. The one was, she's the artist, she's the sculptor, the glass sculptor, and he runs the art distribution gallery thing, and he wants to distribute her stuff, but she doesn't want to, they also find each other attractive, and eventually they hook up for business, and then they hook together, and then the next book is that girl's sister meeting this other dude, and
so the formula is the same. They just change the ingredients, the variable. All right, so I'm let down by that.
Well, but there's also
they have a Latina lady who's the sassy.
Well, but there's always a different plot, and then some of these romances they will actually what is it they call them
mystery romance,
romantic suspense. They'll have to go and have they'll have mystery romances. They'll have romantic suspense where the hero has to go and fight the bad guys to get the girl, like a Romance in the Stone kind of thing.
Oh wow, that's
right.
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's a romance, but it's also
adventure. Yeah.
Right? So
no, you're right. Yeah.
So, I'm not sure what that has to do with science fiction, but hey, it's all good. But no, it's
I'm just going through
I was gonna say, that guy really likes writing incel.
Yeah, he does. He does. So it's just we so all right. So forget the romance is the number one, and for marketing, obviously we did, but that outsells the story, outsells nonfiction, because nonfiction is instructional and it's only for people with that issue.
Yeah, or if you're curious about history or whatever,
right?
It's not an escape. It's not entertainment.
It's not an escape. Okay, there you guys go. If you want to become an author, don't write nonfiction. Lie.
Or do. I mean, write what you want to.
Right. Well, I was gonna
just don't write evil.
I was gonna write the Communist Manifesto. I want to get into fiction writing.
That's what I was gonna say. That's been taken.
Yeah, but this time I'll add vagina, and then that way the vagina Communist Manifesto, and then all the women will buy it because it finally fights the patriarchy or whatever.
No, that could work.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, I should do Harlequin Romance, Red Pill Romance. He said, "Shut up and make me a sandwich." She says, "I'd like to, but I'm getting my master's in chemical engineering." That's hot. She says, "Can I invite my big-titted redhead friend over?" "Of course you can." And that would be it wouldn't be really a bad plot. It would just be kind of
so erotica.
Yeah, but erotica in the sense. And then she told me she had a fully funded and fully vested 401k plan and paid for her accounting degree herself. Her parents were still together, and she had a good relationship with her dad. Like, oh, that's hot. Oh boy, sign me up for that.
That's a unicorn right there.
Well, all right. So, in terms of marketing, then, what are you going to back off the writing a little bit and try and promote it, or do you like the writing so much you don't care if you make that much money off of these things?
Oh, I care if I make that much money off these things because, hey, I'm a mercenary. I was in the military for 20 years. I mean,
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
To work, you get a return. Yeah.
And also, since I'm not doing corporate stuff anymore, that's the part of the reason I wanted to not do corporate anymore was to focus on that and try to make it an actual profession.
Right.
And so yeah, I'll be doing both.
What about because I think the future is you just build your own case, you build your own social media platform, and then you cross sell it. I think that's really it. With your story time with Michael Kingswood, would that be good for kids to tune into, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just reading my stories. So as long as you're not, I don't have very many racy scenes in my stories.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you rate them like RPG, kind of thing?
I probably should, but I don't.
Well, seriously, let's say.
I mean, because frankly, most of my stories I'm writing for a general adult audience, and there will be, sometimes language, sometimes not. But I mean, I don't really go into much in the extreme of gore. I don't really go into sex scenes that I think Pericles had one, but I think it's the only one I've actually ever done. So.
Well, and I'm just unfortunately, you don't get to determine what you'd like to write. If I had a choice in what I'd like to write, I have a I don't know if you could call it science fiction, but a near very close future science fiction type of book. But science fiction wouldn't be the main thing. I have a Western I'd love to write. Mm-hmm. I'd love to write these fictional pieces, but the market isn't there. I got to write, but I could totally see where, okay, think about that story time with Michael Kingswood. And little Jimmy wants to go to sleep, and you got the long hair, and he thinks, Michael Kingswood has funny hair. And then you got all these little kids. Soon you're the Blippi. You know Blippi? Blippi?
Don't know what the hell Blippi is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Blippi is he's a normal guy like you and me. And
we're normal?
Well, yeah. He's a 30-something, maybe early 40-something guy. And I don't know how he fell into it, but he dresses up like a plumber with big glasses, and he wears a blue and orange plumber outfit. And he's kind of like the internet modern day version of Mr. Rogers, except whereas Mr. Rogers is kind of boring, Blippi's fun. He takes you to the park, and he lives out here in Vegas somewhere.
Okay.
The guy is huge. Like my nieces, they think, are you going to see Blippi? I'm like, yeah, Blippi lives right next door to me over at the Southern Command. That guy had no clue. Guarantee you, he wasn't like, you know what I'm going to do? Mm-hmm. I'm going to become probably the most famous, toddler to young kid YouTube personality. Like he'll do Blippi live. He travels and does performances, and kids pay, or the parents pay anyway, to see Blippi on stage.
Oh, I know you guys do that. My kids were very much into Dan TDM.
Okay.
And
kind of like that.
He plays Minecraft videos and things. And
right. It was same thing.
He came to San Diego with a roadshow, and like,
we got to see Ryan doing Daniel Tiger.
Yeah.
You know who Daniel Tiger is? Of course. Right. Well, anyway, so what I'm saying is, fortunately, you got to go to where it was. And a lot of times it's a social media or a platform or but I'd be very curious. What was the catalyst that took average Joe Blow from Vegas and turned him into a multi-million-dollar success plumber kids show mogul? And it's kind of the same thing. Like story time with Michael Kingswood, I could see little kids like, I like the young hippie looking guy with the funny hair. Literally could be, I'm not joking, weird things have happened. And they want to tune into Michael Kingswood. All of a sudden you find yourself writing kids book that you really never had, but you could actually write really cool kids book. I'm not saying you have to, but that I think is where if you had story time with Michael Kingswood and families would go like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to Michael Kingswood when I go story time with Michael Kingswood. That might, that could get some,
maybe, but
it certainly is not going to be your
being kid's stories sounds very unentertaining.
Why? It doesn't, dude. I want to write Westerns. Okay, I want to write action shit. I don't get to write I get to write kind of what I want about. But let's put it this way: both you and our OnlyFans channels aren't going to get us anywhere. Okay, we're not gonna make money on that.
Well, well, speak for yourself. The reason I write under Michael Kingswood is I can't do porn anymore, and that was my.
Oh, you and Sterling Cooper. Yes, that's exactly. Right.
But
right.
Well, that was my porn star name, but it's the Navy joke of it anyway. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, with that.
Yeah, no, I'd like to. I mean, I will. I'll promote your books and everything. But God, I'm more like curious, like if I knew how the algorithms worked and what worked, I'd be like, oh yeah, we could do this. And certainly for those of you in the audience, if you want, take a look at it. I like going to noncommunistsciencefiction.com, but take a look at his books. If you would kindly, how many reviews you got on your books?
I think Clover Vale's got like 30 or so.
Well, that's not bad.
And,
that's pretty good.
Pericles, it's been a while since I looked.
Yeah.
But, obviously, The Great Challenge has none yet because it just came out like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the ones that have been out for a while have a decent number.
What? Yeah, go ahead. I keep seeing SSN, Social Security number.
Well, SSN is a fast attack submarine. SSN, submersible ship nuclear.
Oh,
and the
so the 5 people in the Navy who are they're gonna get that.
Well, hang on. What happened? the joke when you're serving on an SSN is SSN really stands for Saturdays, Sundays, and nights because you work so much. You're always on the boat at night and the weekends working. When I started writing, I was writing at night and at Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, okay,
I get that. Navy,
yeah.
So I was like, okay, we'll do SSN storytelling. And in fact, if you look at the logo I made, it says Saturdays, Sundays, and nights storytelling.
Yeah, there it is. Saturday, yeah.
So it's that's the whole shtick behind that.
Oh, it's on all of them too. Yeah, that's like the publishing company. Cool. What? All right. So if people want to like get, what do you recommend people read first? Because you have, look, someone falls into your work, they're gonna be like, "What in God's name? Where the hell do I mean? Where would you recommend?" Like,
well, if you like fantasy fiction, sword and sorcery stuff, go with Glimmer Veil.
Glimmer Veil. All right. And what's the first one? Glimmer Veil. Glimmer Veil. All right.
If you like sci-fi alien stuff, go to Passing the Night is a short book that leads into the Pericles conspiracy. So you do that short prelude.
I know
if you just like short stories and think it's cool, definitely
this thing right here. Okay, because I was going to say, I know it was you primarily wrote this as a challenge, but you would say this came out good as well.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, I could even try it. What?
Oh, this guy says, put the mic between it. Interestingly enough, the mic is closer to me. I just talk softly.
And this is a slapdash. He took over the other recording studio. That's why we're here in the echoey place. This is as good as it gets, guys. This is I could almost see myself, like, if there's short stories, I could probably read this. Just because, I could stop anytime I wanted.
Yeah, it's all good.
It was good. So all right, cool. Let me see if there's any super chats in the thing. Maybe not. We'll go through here.
Maybe not.
Flower Cappy. Ooh, you'll pay. Some damn commies. Do. I like also doing this to see if there's any spurgs in the audience that need to be banned.
There usually are, right?
Not really. I'm pretty libertarian. Like, okay, let it. But if someone's just being like, they got half a hemisphere for a brain. Wow, a lot of comments though. That's it. All right. There we go. All right, where can people find? I know we're linked below, but go ahead, go over your sites there.
Okay, yeah. So my writer's site is michaelkingswood.com. That will link over to ssnstorytelling.com, which is the web store. You can find me on all the various retailers out there. It's better. I like it better if you go direct to SSN Storytelling because I control it, get more money, and get the opportunity.
You get a higher percentage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't take their cut.
Right.
And also, that'll give you the opportunity to, while you're there, join my newsletter and all that sort of thing, so we can keep in touch.
Okay.
More easily in the future for releases. Speaking of releases, this one just came out. I think I showed you and it goes along with marketing too, getting ready to run a Kickstarter in a few weeks for the 6th book of the Glimmer Veil series. Because what I've found, I've done a number of these crowdfunding Kickstarters and Indiegogo things for right now is, and other people have found this too. Kickstarter is, it's a way to make money in advance, but also it's its own marketplace and its own community. So it's another way to expand into the people who may not have seen you before.
Right. I was surprised that you had past 2 things funded beyond what you required.
Yeah.
You got more than you required. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's a marketing thing. I'm like, and you were telling me, aren't there some authors who they don't even sell the book then afterwards? Like they make enough money that's profitable through the Kickstarter that they only give it to people who contributed to Kickstarter?
Yeah, I just met just came across a person. That's his whole deal is he'll write books and release them through Kickstarter, and then write the next one, release them through Kickstarter, write the next one, release them through Kickstarter, and it's like, hey, do you put them out there elsewhere? It's like eventually.
Well, it almost.
But if you get, but he's doing Kickstarter campaigns, getting 10,000 per, right? And that's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
boom, so why do you need to?
Well, and that's kind of then you wonder, like, okay, his books are very limited, and as from a collection collection standpoint, they probably bring in more. But I'm always amazed how it's like, oh, well, Kickstarter, aren't you going to write the book anyway? And you're like, oh no, some people just do the Kickstarter and that's it. And like, so it's just Kickstarter for money, and there ain't no starting to anything. They make the money, but people willingly know that, and then they get a copy, and that's it. Then they move on to the next one. I was like, okay. I didn't even understand super chats. To this day, I don't psychologically, philosophically understand super chats, but people will do what they do. So,
Yeah.
But all right, cool. There you guys go.
And also on YouTube and podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Time with Michael Kingswood.
Is that the one channel you have?
That's the one. I've
So
got enough going on.
don't set up another one. Just story
Not
time
planning
with
to.
Michael Kingswood. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. All right, we'll see you guys. You want to take us out appropriately?
See you.
No.
Don't do anything I wouldn't.
No.
do.
Toodles.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.